Good afternoon, everyone. It's Lynda here from Banjo's Bead House with our weekly Facebook Live video. And this week I'm doing a long-awaited project for a few people. I am just going to be discussing the Endless Loom. I've had it on range for about a year now. I finally got it out. Probably this time last year, had to play with it, put it away, and then in July I sat down and I gave it a really good play. So I thought I'd share with you a project that I have in process and just talk to you a little bit about the loom. So you will remember a couple of years ago we used the dual loom from Beadalon, the blue plastic one where you set all your warps up and you work that way. The beautiful thing about the Endless Loom is you can actually tie everything off to your clasp to begin with, so you're not actually left with any warps or threads to cut off or any mess really. So it's a new way of looking at it. So there's lots of experimentation I need to do and some projects to share down the line to share those sorts of techniques. There's rubber bands you can put around it, so you can actually stitch around these special elastic bands and make stretch wrap bracelets as well. I haven't got to that. That's what I experimented with last year. Epic fail on my part. Better off to start where I did here and then go take that technique back. So there's lots of lessons to learn along the way. But today I'm going to show you where I'm at with a wrapped leather bracelets. It's a project I've been wanting to do for a while. There's a few different ways you can set up if you don't have one of these looms, but this certainly made it very easy to do. So I'm going to flip you down and show you the loom out of the box all set up, and we'll go from there. So this is the Endless Loom, and we'll get cables out of the way because everything wants to be cabling today. So this is, as we can see, that's a bit better. This is the Endless Loom all set up with my elastics and everything else. So all of the kits come straight out of the box in a wrapped bag, and you've got room for all of the bits. So there's different dowel lengths for different size bracelets that you want to create. I've gone for the longest ones because it's a bracelet for me. And then you'll see the two top pieces slot in there. So everything has a space. It also comes with a cute little nail file, so you can round these guys down. It does come, the bonus ones we've got at the moment come with the rubber bands. I've just managed to lose mine. But if you're around any of the dollar shops that are still selling loom bands, you could pick those up that are nice and fluoro, or you could just use an elastic band and wrap it a few more times. These are about holding it all together and giving you your work environment. There is a little pocket. I've used my little pocket to hold some S-Lon thread, which is what I'm working with, and just a needle to have on hand. The great thing is the loom with project in tow, you can just fold up, take with you. So it comes with a little carry case where it fits, and you can take your project away in this as well. So very, very handy. As we can see from the front, that's what I was talking about, where you can tie your clasp off and stitch in towards your clasp, so you're not left with anything else to sew in, or you can do a wrap bracelet, which is what I'm going to show you guys. You can also do stretch bracelets. So the black lines you're seeing there is actually elastic, so that piece will actually stretch. There's lots of different ways you can play with the loom. To set it up, it's very easy. You're just putting these guys on, as I said, for tensioning. So I'll just take them off for now. These guys here, I will explain in a second once we get this apart. It's been a while since this was apart. So you can see you put in your desired length rods into each end. You just push it together, making sure we don't capture that elastic. I've got the elastic sitting here inside that. That helps this not to fall off. These guys on the end here, yes, this is a nice straight curve. Great then when how do you get your needle in underneath. So that's where this guy comes in, and you can maneuver him around so you can see he creates some space whilst you're working. So I'm just going to pop the side tensions back on. Just bear with me. Nice curly elastics now. Now, if you're setting up for a wrap bracelet, you will need a button with a shank. So I'm going to show you the back of mine. So I've got an elastic already set. So you just need a shank that you can thread elastic through. Then loosely wrap that around your wrist either 1 time, 2 times, or 3 times, and then probably add about another 10-15 centimeters. Doubled, of course, and that will give you the length that you need to create. So me being me, decided to go for a triple bracelet. So I have a lot of hand sewing to do, tails that I really need to cut before I pull things through, because now I've got massive tangles, of course. You can see here I've just slipped the elastic from the pack around the button, and that's just so I can anchor it on here. And on the other end, where I've just tied a loose positioning knot for the moment, I've just threaded a new elastic because I broke my old one around it. And that's basically just to give me a rough guide. Okay, sorry, just as I get threads out. So essentially, as we're starting a wrap loom, a wrap bracelet, you are just doing a series of macrame square knots. So I can always come back and do macrame on another day, because this is really fine seeing black on black. With any of these projects, you want to match your thread to your leather. So at the moment, I've got white leather in the 2.5 mil and black, and I've got the Echelon AA, which is what I'm using, in the black and the white. I think this is available in other colors. I can always look that up for you guys after the fact. You can look at using the Echelon D as well if you can get it through your needle. I found the A was a little bit easier. But the idea is you don't really want to see the threads. You can feel the threads, but you don't want to see them. So from there, it's a matter of planning your design. So you can see I've changed beads. I've got an interchange here where I've changed threads, so hence why I've got tails hanging, because I need to glue and sew them back in. But it's about having fun then creating your design and weaving beads through. So we're going to do a little demo of that, but I'm just going to put this guy back together on the loom, and I have nearly lost one of the elastics that I need. So we're just sliding that on, and we're just going to anchor him onto the loom. From there, I'm just going to wrap the bracelet around. I'm just going to make sure I get those tails out of the way. Since this is a live project and I actually have thread and a needle. Oops, we've deneedled. Okay. So we're just wrapping. What you need to do is in the wrapping process, this is about getting your tension set correctly and making sure you have your leather not getting caught around everything. Much easier to do this one before you put threads on. You want to keep your leather nice and flat and together so that you're not getting any twists in your design. And as I said, when you get to your knot at the end, you're simply tucking it in. So you can see there I've got it wrapped around, gives you an idea of what my bracelet's going to look like. Now in terms of working on that, it's now a case of flipping over to where I'm at, picking up my thread. So I'm just doing this off camera. It's thready, tiny needle. Yep, managed to split my thread. There you go. Okay, we will try that again. No, okay. Give me a second. I have a lovely static problem and I managed to fluff threads, so there we go. We are finally threaded again. So you can see here I've come out of the series of beads that I'm working on. So these are Paisley Duos, worked with some fire polish and some La Perla Puca Samos. I'm doing a black and silver theme. I'm happy because it's a color I tend to wear a lot of. I'm playing around mostly at the moment with the matte black Tohos. and playing between silver and matte silvers. So having a bit of fun. I'm planning to work with the Shiny Super Duos. I've got some matte gem duos as well. And just in, I've got some of the O beads. So I thought I'd have a little bit of fun, mixing some stuff up. I'm also going to look at putting in possibly some of the etched silver glass beads because they're a bit of fun too. So this is a great project where you can mix and match beads, any leftover projects, leftover beads where you've only got a few. It's a great way of working them in. So I've got a pattern going. You can see I've gone from point to point, then curve to curve. So my next one is a point. My thread at the moment is coming underneath the leather. So the next one's going to be over the leather through that paisley bead. And I'm actually threading on both paisley beads at the same time, threading my needle under the leather, and of course pulling the beads out as I go, and getting it caught around the knot. Because today's, if it's going to go wrong day, it's going to happen. And as you can see, and I'm just going to turn this around, and that's the beauty of the baby loom. It makes it really easy to turn around and makes it very easy to get in and actually adjust this to work with you. Whereas if you were doing this on a bead tray and you flattened it, or an oven tray, it's not so easy to pick it up and just work. So I've now got my thread again coming from underneath. My needle is on the top side, and I'm just going back through both of those holes. We're just going to try and pull that a little tighter to make this easier to do in one needle pass. There we go. Of course, the threads are catching on everything today. Now, before I pull that nice and tight, we're going to make sure our beads are in the right orientation. We're going to pull that thread down and give that a really nice tight pull. You can at this point choose to go under and back through. I personally do that with the 2-hole beads, just because they can wiggle a little bit more. Great. So I've threaded my cord back underneath. I'm just using my needle to go across, pulling through. We're going to work our needle back under and then back through. And 4 lots of threads, pretty much where you want to max that out at. It's good to do that at the start and finish points where you're changing your braid particularly, but it's up to you. I will now do the front 2, but I'm only going to do the double pass, so the front and the back. So we're bringing our needle under to create our loop under. We are threading through, pulling our cord, coming up, and then back across. Oops, sorry for bumping the camera there, guys. And sorry if I'm going off camera. And that is essentially the technique for using this to do a wrap bracelet. I love the flexibility that this gives me. As I am working here, I can move that closer, so I've actually got, as you can see, more room to work under here. And as I scroll that back, that's sitting flat to the board. So it does give you some flexibility to work as you grade up and down. So I've got one more section of silver to do, and then I'll grade back down, and we'll probably do a thread change at that stage. And that's where you've got this macrame banding. It brings all of your tensioning back in and allows you to do a nice thread change as well. You can see I've done one at that point, so I've got some tails to clear, which is basically just glue and some stitch back, just to make sure they're nice and secure. But yeah, the Endless Loom is a lot of fun. Highly recommend if you get a chance to try it. If not, if you do have a beading tray or an oven tray that you can work with, create a loop around that and have some fun giving a wrap bracelet a go. As I get some more work done on this guy, when I find some time, I will post some shots to give you guys some ideas. But that's it for me for this week. I'll be back next week with another fun project. See you all then. Bye for now.